On today's episode, I'm going to show you 5 pedal companies that I'm incredibly thankful for because it's Thanksgiving. Let's do this. This episode is going to be less about the pedals you're going to hear me play and more about the people who created them. So first up, I'm super thankful for Robert Keeley of Keeley Electronics. He's a hero of mine. I remember when I first got into the pedal business, looking at his designs, looking at how he modified things, and being so fascinated with how good his pedals sounded. In 2014, I saw him at NAMM across the room, and he had been away from the scene for a while, and I was super intimidated, but I had to meet my hero. I walk up to him, and within 10-15 minutes, we're over in the dining area, and he's just downloading tons of information to me, helping me, giving me tips, calls me later, even comes down to Kansas City and hangs out. And since then, we've collaborated, we've helped each other, and he's amazing. I got to do the steak and eggs 2-in-1 with him, and so many of his pedals are just fantastic. He goes from off the scene and comes back, and now in 2019, he's bigger than he's ever been, and that's a huge inspiration to me as a pedal builder. So let's play a couple of his. I have the Keeley Company JHS Distortion. Don't be confused. It's just a one-off of his distortion that he made a few years ago. You can't have it. There's only one. It's mine. And then there's the Mag Echo, which is my favorite delay that he makes. Thank you, Robert Keeley. You're awesome. Next up is Philippe Herndon of Caroline Guitar Company, or as he says in a few products, Caroline Corporation. Nonetheless, I first heard of him when his first pedal dropped, and it was called the Wave Cannon back in 2012 or 13, I think. And we got on the phone, and I had to have one, and we start talking about the circuit. And we're geeking out about how I have a similar thing and what his is. And it was just a really great conversation, and we hit it off. And over the years, I love watching his brand. I love what he's built. I love the way that his pedals sound. But the thing that I'm most thankful for with Philippe is that he pushes me visually. His pedals are beautiful in every way. He has amazing and perfect branding. And I look up to that, and I love it, and I'm super thankful for it. Look at this, the Hawaiian pizza. I've showed this before. I can't stop looking at it. I need extra ones just to look at them. But I'm going to play these two, the vegetarian pizza, which I'm very fortunate to get one of these out of the limited run, and the Kilobyte lo-fi delay. So anyway, thank you, Philippe, for challenging me and making me want my pedals to not look horrible. Thank you. Another company that I am thankful for is Earthquaker Devices, specifically Julie and Jamie who run that company. The first time I ever played one of their pedals was the Dispatch Master. I was working at a sound check for a band called Civil Twilight, and I played through it, fell in love with it, and then I met them a year or two later at the NAMM show. And when I met Jamie, he was instantly like awesome. Like I knew, there was no doubt this guy was awesome. And then we started talking about old Fuzz faces and circuits, and they were a little bit older of a company, and they still are, obviously. And he had a lot of wisdom, and he was never afraid to just look at me and say, yeah, this or that, or this dealer, or here's some advice. And to this day, myself and my general manager, Steve, we talk to them constantly. Julie's always giving advice, we're giving advice, and we just do this circular thing of helping each other out. And they are the best type of people in the entire world. They're totally able to give any info they have and to help in any way. They're very unselfish, and I'm really, really thankful for that. I'm gonna play the Erupter, which is a Fuzz circuit, and it's amazing. And I'm gonna play that Dispatch Master. I'm thankful for these, but I am more thankful for the two people who helped put them on the market and created them. It's hard not to be thankful for Boss when you're standing in my shoes, because I basically started this company with modifying their circuits, learning their circuits, and falling in love with what guitar pedals are because of the great things that they had created. It gets a lot more real for me later because I become really good friends with the president of Boss, Yoshi, and I keep meeting him at trade shows, and he puts up with all my questions about history and all the geeky circuit things I ask him, and paint colors, and just total fanboy nerdum. He puts up with all of it, and he's so helpful. Then we collaborated on the Angry Driver, their first ever pedal collaboration. He's had conversations with me that have been priceless in JHS Pedals' journey forward and making good business decisions and just having the right mindset as a pedal company. So I'm really, really thankful for him as a friend and for Boss as a company, because I've learned so much from their attitude of giving information and kind of paying it forward. Let's play a couple pedals that are awesome. The Blues Driver is how I got into this. I fixed a Boss Blues Driver, and miraculously, I got it working, and that's how I started a pedal company. And then my favorite tap tempo delay ever, the DD5. Let's fire them up and see what they sound like. And thank you, Yoshi, for being amazing. Last but most definitely not least, I am thankful for John Cusack of Cusack Music. I met John at one of these trade shows where like you're in a hotel room and you rent it out and it's obnoxiously loud, and we sat around and we just talked about history and gear. And I remember when he told me that he basically invented tap tempo for tremolo, and it blew my mind. And then he told me all the stories about how he worked for Zvex back in the day and did all this cool stuff designing for him as he had his own company. And he has been instrumental in me learning more and more about circuitry. He produces a lot of our circuit boards from Michigan. He's fixed countless issues with production. One time we had this issue where we had just released the Panther Cub, and we hear a noise in here in the circuit board layout. We send it to John and he tracks it down. I think he stays up late one night and he comes up with a temporary fix involving an empty root beer can where he cuts it with a razor blade, lays it on the circuit board and stops the interference, and then we replicate his root beer can cutout. Crazy story, but he fixed it. And then I had the idea for the muffuletta. I get the analog circuitry perfect, and then he kind of invented the switching system. So I am indebted to John and his genius work. I think he's one of the most underappreciated designers and pedal companies out there. And we're gonna play a couple of my favorite pedals of his. This is the delay, so he has the tap-a delay. This has a tap-out jack, but I'm just gonna use it in standard mode. And then this is one of the most clever pedals I've ever seen. People have always used a tube screamer with a fuzz face. He just combined them, and it's fantastic. So John, you're awesome, thank you. Yeah. I try to keep the JHS show really positive, but to some people, maybe I come off a little too positive about guitar pedals. But I hope that seeing these stories that I'm telling you and how I see these pedals today, I hope that it lets you understand that I visualize and understand pedals in a different way. I don't just look at an Earthquaker pedal. I see Jamie and Julie and the bowling parties we throw every year at NAMM. I don't just see a Keeley compressor. I see Robert Keeley, my hero and a really good friend who's helped me on countless situations. And I don't just look at a Boss pedal and think about the amazing history of the company. I see Yoshi and the other friends that I made in Japan when I went over to work on that collaboration. I love guitar pedals, and in this room there's 1,000 more stories like this that I could tell you about. So yeah, I'm super positive and I'm gonna stay that way. Today's record time is brought to you by Andrew Bird's 2016 release, Are You Serious? Otherwise known as the Parrot album. I don't think it's actually known as that. Here's the deal with Andrew Bird. I'm a big fan, I'm a super fan, and all of his music's amazing. And even the 2 albums I'm not a massively obsessed fan over are still better than most things I hear, and this one is exceptional. This has a Andrew Bird meets Bill Withers vibe. When you turn it on, you'll understand that he has harnessed the rhythm section of those classic Bill Withers songs, and he just does this thing over the top, and it's really, really magical. I'm a big fan. If you don't know about Andrew Bird, this is gonna be your new favorite record, then you're gonna go down the deep end, and you're gonna become obsessed. So in the comments, tell me what you think about this. You Andrew Bird fans that are out there, let me know what your favorite record is. And I don't know where else to go with this. I'm just really thankful for this record. And it's the ultimate fall record, meaning it's the ultimate Thanksgiving Day, completely vegged out, I ate too much record. There's a lot to discuss here, but we're gonna move on. And we need to give away all those Deadbeat pedals from the What's the Deal with Deadbeat episode. So Nick, do that. Announce the winner right now.
Sure thing, Josh. The winner of the Deadbeat giveaway is Nathan Herum. Congratulations, Nathan. You are now the proud owner of one of each of Deadbeat's pedals. Happy Thanksgiving, and have a good rest of your day.
Thanks so much for watching this episode. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Hit like if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to subscribe. And then there's a bell icon. Click that and get notifications of all future episodes. I want to leave you from one of my favorite quotes from one of my favorite writers. I think it's very fitting today. It is that friendship is unnecessary. It's like philosophy and like art. It has no survival value, but it's one of the very things that adds value to our survival. So on this Thanksgiving Day, tell your friends you love them, be thankful for them, just give people hugs. Everyone around you, give them a hug. I'm out.